that have been put together for Interfaith Week. This is a week of activities starting with Remembrance Sunday and finishing actually this year with, of course, Mitzvah Day, which is on the following Sunday. And of course, there's the Ajax Remembrance Parade, which also takes place on Sunday for, although, of course, with the whole COVID, it's greatly reduced. But I want to welcome you all. Tonight will also be, and I think it's only right to remember, it will be one of the 7 days of evening prayers for the Shiva, as we call it, for the late, great Jonathan Sacks. And our hearts obviously go out to Lady Elaine, Joshua, Dina, Gila, and the entire family. May they be comforted by the knowledge that his remarkable legacy will live on in the hearts and minds of the countless people he inspired. He laid down this challenge for us: and maintain your identity while contributing to the common good. Be true to your faith whilst being a blessing to others, regardless of their faith. And I think hopefully what we're about to witness tonight is one of those beautiful faiths that are probably as old as Judaism itself, and which it's maintained its own identity, its own belief, and its own confidence as well. And now they're part of obviously the common good of the United Kingdom and everybody else. So it's a delight to welcome you all. Thank you, Suchita. Back to Anthony.
Yeah. Thanks, Ez. And without any further ado, over to Suchita and to Neela for the Festival of Lights. What do we know about Diwali?
Good evening, everybody. Diwali, the Festival of Light, is going to be celebrated throughout the world this weekend. Not only Hindus, but Sikhs, Jains, and Hindus all celebrate Diwali. The festival extends over a few days and is a festival of new beginning, triumph of good over evil, light over darkness, and knowledge over ignorance. It is a day of solidarity, love, and trust. Before I elaborate on Diwali, I would like to mention one of the most important rituals in Hinduism that takes place about 6 weeks prior to Diwali. It's the ritual of remembering the ancestors and thank them for their blessings. During the period of these 2 weeks, elders in the family follow a strict vegetarian diet, abstain from alcohol, visit the places of worship, and donate food to the less privileged. People visit holy places and float lamps in the holy rivers for the departed souls. After the period of remembrance, people celebrate the festival of Navratri, the 9 nights to celebrate the role of divine feminine goddess Durga. People congregate for 9 days for special music and dance performances. I would like Neela to explain about Navratri festival.
Thank you,
Then we
Sujita.
have
Navratri means 9 nights. And it's celebrated, it's celebrated in 3 stages. So each stage has 3 nights. So the first one is dedicated to Goddess Durga, because it begins the journey of what we need to be able to do is cleanse away all our baggage. So Durga, the goddess, has this power of destruction and ability to conquer. And that's why it's as if we are taking a bath and adorning ourselves with clean clothes. So stage 2, the next 3 nights is dedicated to Goddess Lakshmi, during which we fill ourselves with wealth, not just physical, tangible wealth, but the inner wealth of virtue, character, and knowledge, as well as love. And then the last stage, the last 3 nights, are then devoted to the goddess Saraswati. Saraswati has the most profound understanding of truth. Having attained that highest knowledge, we are now ready to endow ourselves with the highest knowledge. And so the festival of Navratri is this beautiful journey of cleansing ourselves, of embalming all the virtues, attaining the knowledge, and freeing ourselves by destroying the ego. So basically, that's the meaning really behind Navratri. So around the world, wherever the Hindus are situated and when they're celebrating the Diwali, they perform what's called Garba and Ras, which we'll see a little video. The first one is performed. Can we start the video? So this Ghumar is a dance that's performed. It's the traditional folk dance that was originally performed by the Bhil tribe in Rajasthan. And over the years, the Rajasthan community has adopted it, and it's become one of their traditional folk dance. And this dance is to worship goddess Saraswati. And it's usually done in a circle. That's why you see the ladies going around, and then in the middle, there's usually a little candle. But of course, this particular performance was done in 2018 in one of the school halls in Kenton. And all the ladies that are dancing, they are students of one of our Bollywood dancers that teaches from the ages, from little girls to ladies. We do Bollywood classes twice a week. We used to do them twice a week. Two ladies who participated from in their 80s. Some of them were in their 90s. Although it's not as energetic as these ladies, young ladies are doing them, but they still participate. So it's very much part of the whole community takes part in it.
Thank you, Neela. Within the fabric on the stage, you might have noticed different symbols of Hinduism. The swastika with its 4 directions represent the concept of karma, right thought, right word, right action, and right understanding. It is associated with well-being. It's a symbol of prosperity, and Neela, can you explain about this second dance performance, please?
Yeah. So this is what we call Ras Garba. So it's performed with sticks, as you can see. Originally, it was, this is the part of a folk dance in Gujarat. It's very famous, and originally they were performed by men. These days, they are performed by everyone together. Usually the men and women, they do it together. And during those 9 days when we're doing the garbas, usually they start off with the hand clapping, which is called garba. And then just before we perform the aarti, we do the ras garba. And they also are part of the tradition where before the weddings or any other auspicious day, it's just part of the playful dance, really, and to have fun. Because Diwali celebration is all about having fun and play. It's when families all get together, families and friends, and all your neighbors get together and participate in this.
Thank you, Neela.
So,
Children create effigy of demon and dance with it. And at the end of the day, they set it on fire. This is a fun part of Diwali where I come from. Usually you see this picture in Goa. Can we have the video, please? Diwali means row of light. Light is a powerful metaphor for knowledge and consciousness. It's the reminder of the preciousness of education, self-inquiry, and improvement, which bring harmony to the individual, the community, and between the communities. Lighting lamps remind Hindus to keep on the right path, to dispel darkness from their hearts and minds, and embrace knowledge and goodness. People illuminate the streets with lamps, flower decorations, and colorful fabrics. Diwali is the most important festival celebrated by the Indians on the Indian subcontinent and Indians all over the world. During the 4-day celebration, colorful lanterns are lit, There is rangoli pattern made on the floor with colored powders. Special Diwali sweets are prepared. Families reach out to each other with gifts of sweets and dry fruits. On the second day of Diwali, Lakshmi, the goddess of money, is worshipped. Special prayers for prosperity and comfort are offered. On the third day, people celebrate New Year. Families visit their loved ones. Gifts of sweets are exchanged. Neela, would you like to say a few words about the New Year, please?
Sure. So just as we are doing Rangoli and all that at home, the businesses also celebrate in their own way. They do the Lakshmi is the goddess of wealth. And so you do on that particular day, all the shopkeepers will open up their shop early, do their puja, and they'll close their accounts for the year and start a new set of accounts with new books. And anything that they do, or any business that they do on that day, it's really, they say that's how the whole year will be for them. So it's an auspicious day. And the New Year Day, again, is when it's a little bit like Christmas, where people enjoy all their favorite dishes and their specific New Year Day dishes that you make and you share with everyone. Last year we had Councillor Caroline Stock, the Mayor of London Borough of Barnet. She came to a Diwali function and lit the candle to begin the celebrations on that day. So it's a shame that this year we are having to do it by Zoom and we're not in person. But we did that event in partnership with the Multi-Faith Forum, and I'm very grateful to them for giving me this opportunity again to be part of this celebration.
Thank you, Neela.
Thank you.
The fourth day of Diwali is a special day for the siblings. Brothers visit their sisters with gifts.
So again, the festival of Bhai Dooj, as it's called, it's a festival that celebrates the eternal bond between brothers and sisters. On this occasion, the sister prays to the god for the longevity, well-being, and prosperity of their brothers. They apply a tilak to the forehead of their brothers and perform an aarti. The tika ceremony signifies the sister's sincerest prayers for their long and happy life of her brother. She also prepares his favorite delicious food items for them to share together. And the brother in return gives gift to their sister and promises to protect her. Thank you.
This ritual starts the minute children start to walk in the family and talk. The parents will introduce them this special day, and the parents will get involved with all the celebrations, and they will introduce the girls as well as boys and tell them about the importance of this day, which the bond they have to keep forever. And when the daughter gets married, the brother usually goes to visit her on this special sibling day of Diwali. While celebrating Diwali in the UK, we take particular precaution about fire safety. Instead of using actual oil lamps and candles, we use battery-operated lamps nowadays. So I hope everybody will take special care about that. I would like to wish all my Hindu, Sikh, and Jain friends a very happy Diwali and a very happy, healthy, and prosperous and peaceful year ahead.
And I too. Thank you.
Wow, my head is a whirl with music and color and dance and family rejoicing. Suchita and Neela, thank you so much for that presentation of Diwali. I learned a lot as well about various meanings too, but a couple of questions have come up, so perhaps we'll go straight into those questions. Actually, it might be, I can do it. Jackie, would you like to unmute? Is she able to, David?
Yep.
Yeah. Could you ask your question?
Okay, I've just got to find it. What are the beautiful designs made of? And is there a special significance to the shape, i.e. the circle or the overlapping squares?
The different shapes are made with flower petals. Some are made with colored flour. You take rice flour and mix color into it.
Okay.
And you can use different patterns. For example, the green one with it is the elephant-headed god Ganesha.
Mm.
And then you have got different flower patterns. It is very auspicious for Hindus to have a circle. It's always, it shows the divine, the existence of God with circle. We don't like anything that is too sharp and pointed.
Oh.
And I will come back to swastika again, because if you look at the swastika, it has got 4 directions which guides us about the important actions in our life. And it is always at a right angle.
Mm.
It is not twisted. So this is a proper swastika which belongs to Hinduism.
What is it called in Hinduism?
Swastika.
It
is called swastika.
Right. It's unfortunately that you have to now explain it on every occasion.
Yeah.
Although it's back to the Nazis turned it back to front.
Yeah. And it was twisted as well.
Yeah.
Our swastika is always at the right angle. It will be always with the cross in the middle and the directions showing you north, south, west, and east.
If anybody has ever been to Copenhagen and has done a visit to the Carlsberg Brewery, has anyone done that?
No, I haven't.
At the entrance to the Carlsberg Brewery, it's huge. It's huge. There's a massive door, and it's stone, and on each side is an elephant, and on the elephant is a huge swastika. And as you go in, the first thing they say is, they explain, and it's obviously the swastika back to front, but it was a long time ago, and I don't know why Carlsberg have the swastika at the entrance to their brewery, and maybe somebody knows.
Many other cultures also have swastika. I have been to Mexico, and the Mayan culture, they had something very similar to swastika, and the Aztecs had it as well. Yes.
Right.
So I don't know whether it was drawn even by those cultures, ancient cultures, to guide people towards different maybe directions. So I think a lot of other cultures have had swastika.
It's interesting.
Suchita, can I ask a question about, was it the second day that you put a candle into a saucer and let it float on the river?
Yes.
And that's in memory of those who've died.
Yes.
Yeah. What's your belief about the afterlife? Because my understanding is you believe in the circle of life. So does, say, your grandfather or your, do they lose their identity and become something else? Do they retain identity over time, or what's your belief?
We believe that the body dies, but the soul will enter some other body and have a rebirth.
Mm.
And we also always believe that you do good karma, good action, you will get a good next birth. So your next birth will be always positive, happy. And if you are a bad person in this life, you will have to pay for it in the next life. And the cycle goes on, we believe, for seven times. And we are encouraged to find nirvana, the word nirvana, where the cycle ends. And people work towards it. A lot of sadhus and gurus, when you think about it, when they go into meditation and go into their religious, very strict religious practices, they are hoping to get to nirvana because they want to break the circle of cycle of life.
Oh.
But yeah.
So say a bit more about nirvana. Is it a state of happiness?
Yes, then you are one with God.
Right.
When you achieve nirvana, you're one with God.
Right. Yeah.
Because
So,
we say that God doesn't have a form, it's in a form of soul. So when you attain nirvana, your soul merges with the God. So then you don't perpetuate that cycle of life and birth.
Thank you for that. Are there other questions or reflections that anybody would like to offer? Yes, Helen?
Sushita, you talk about being one with God, and yet you have many gods who are sort of specialist gods, gods of this, gods of that. So how does that work?
yeah.
Relationship.
It's a pity you missed yesterday's session, Helen, because I did mention about millions of Indian gods and goddesses. In Hinduism, we are given freedom to imagine our God. We have been given freedom to think what we believe the God should be. This is the reason you see even the different colors with gods. Lord Krishna is always shown as very dark and sort of a blue skin, whereas Shiva is always shown as a very angry god. And there are even goddesses. So everybody must have imagined gods and goddesses in different situations. And they must have painted their picture the way they wanted. And you can imagine with millions of people in India, I'm not surprised there are millions of gods and goddesses.
I think, and also it goes back to the very old scriptures. Some of the stories that are there and have been told over the decades. And so, of course, an artist imagines that person to look like that when they hear that story. So say like Shiva is known to be the god of destroyer. So of course he's angry and he's always ready to fight and powerful. So the artist has drawn him in such a depiction. But that doesn't mean that's what he's like.
I do find it very interesting, and I really do find this interesting in that Hinduism is one of the Dharmic faiths, and yet in the Abrahamic faiths, in Judaism and Christianity and Islam, it is absolutely forbidden to draw God. You cannot draw God. You cannot draw the face of God, and yet in your faith you are encouraged to. It is so interesting, and because Ez always speaks about what unites us, our similarities, and yet our differences are also interesting. I've always said our differences are not hurdles. Our differences are things to be experienced and enjoyed. And I think this is really, really interesting. And it's a fundamental difference, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, when you think about mythology and Greek gods as well, if you look at their gods before Christianity came to Greece, they had different, like Poseidon and quite a few, the way they imagined their gods to be. So it wasn't just, I think, in India that, different people had their own ideas about God and they worship them.
Also,
So in India, we have got special prayers when we start something new. We have special prayer when there is a wedding in the family or there is a funeral. So there are different types of prayers, like every other religion. We have got different prayers.
I think it's absolutely fascinating. And one of the greatest joys of interfaith dialogue is that we are learning about each other, and it's so enriching.
Yeah.
I was reflecting on the value you place on family, but I'm trying to think again, is it unique, this special day for brothers and sisters to pledge love, loyalty, support for each other?
Yes.
It's a very important day for the siblings in India. Yeah.
And in a similar way, there's another day like that in August, usually it is, where the roles are a little bit reversed.
Mm-hmm.
And the sisters tie a little, it's a bracelet, but it's made of thread to their brother's right arms or hand to say that may that give you protection.
Mm.
So it's a little bit of role reversal on that day. So in a way, there is a lot of the
stress on family.
Yes.
Mm.
And it's not just about the family as such, but that bond between brother and sister is very strong.
Mm.
And like you said, Suchita, it's encouraged from the day you're born.
Yes. I remember having my daughter was 6 months old, and she had her first celebration of the 4th day of sibling day when her brother was 4 and she was only 6 months old. And that's when it started, really. So as they were growing up, they knew that what Diwali means and what that particular day means. And for Diwali means for us is a lot, is giving. We give a lot. Ladies will produce a lot of food, sweets and savory, Indian sweets and savory goodies are prepared.
We know.
And they take them to the temple. If anybody has visited Swaminarayan temple during Diwali, one of the photographs was there where you saw all the food being presented in front of the deity, and then it is distributed amongst less fortunate people. Yes. So that's very important.
Are your families getting smaller? Because I'm thinking, are your cousins surrogate brothers and sisters to each other if in a family there's only 1 or 2? Absolutely.
Sometimes there is only one child in the family, and she will. India is, yes, the families are really becoming small. Yeah. So somebody might not have a brother, somebody might not have a sister, but they will go to their cousins usually. Yeah.
And even if they can't go to the cousins, sometimes in this country, I know if people don't have brothers or they don't have sisters. I have 2 friends. They don't have any brothers. So because we're so close and we meet each other as families, they count my brother as their brother. And they come and join me. So it's as and most of, a lot of the Indian families are very big families and they all live together. But we've always been a very small family, partly because my parents left India when I was 5. So, and we've not lived in India, and most of my relatives are either in India or they're in America. So in this country, there's just us. So once our parents passed away, it's just us siblings.
Right, yeah.
So not everybody has those big families, but we just get our friends, our neighbors, they're all part of our family, because that's who we spend most of our time with. So that's who we count as family, as I do.
Yes, I've just seen this message from, yes, it's regarding the light in every other faith. It's about enlightenment, isn't it? So it's not just Hinduism that concentrates on light, and it's also, it's Hadia saying, hi Hadia. Yes, you're quite right, because we know in Judaism also, light is very important. We have got Christmas lights also is important. Quite other, a lot of other faiths are also, they also give a lot of importance to light. Hanukkah, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll be having Hanukkah soon, I suppose.
That's right. Well,
Yeah.
it's dark outside, and light gives us courage and brightness when we especially appreciate it.
Yes.
One thing I was struck in terms of the importance of family, I was, because I lived in Leicester for quite a while and got to know some of the traditions, but I've got various brothers-in-law and sisters-in-law. But in the Hindu tradition, you have a special name for your brother's wife, as opposed to your sister's husband and your sister's sister, your sister-in-law's sister.
Yes.
Everybody has a special role and a special position in the family. I think that emphasizes those special bonds in different directions.
And the same goes with the grandparents also, because the mother's parents will be called in a different way, and the father's parents will be called in a different way by the children.
Right.
It's a bit of a hierarchy, I suppose.
Would you say Hinduism is more matriarchal or patriarchal, to ask a provocative question?
It's quite interesting, because if you go towards south of India, it is very matriarchal. And up north India is very patriarchal. I don't know whether it is the history is to be blamed for that, because India has been invaded quite a few times. So in the north, they had to protect the women. So if you see in some of the parts like Punjab and in Rajasthan, you will still see in villages, people have their sari drawn a little bit low on their forehead. They don't cover their face completely, but they have got their sari a little bit down on their forehead.
Till they
so
cover
maybe that's the reason they are more patriarchal. And in South, India has been always quite fortunate, because South has enjoyed the comfort of good weather and being safe as well, because it's not been attacked. So the women have got a very sort of free life in south of India.
And also in South India, that the goddesses were very much
lot of stress on the
yes, and the Indian classical dance as such, it originated in South India, because the dance was performed to please the god. And so they were also then treated as with that higher dignity because they were pleasing the gods. And so therefore the women have enjoyed that.
That role. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
The special status.
Yeah.
Yes, special status.
We're
Thank you.
beginning to come towards the end. I'm just wondering if there are other questions or reflections.
Anthony,
Yes. Yes, a
David,
word from you, please.
well, just may I take President's privilege? I think just to absolutely thank Sakita and Nipal for that wonderful presentation. I learned so much, and I hope you did, from it. Colourful, informative, original. It's what this Faith Week, Interfaith Week, is actually all about. We need to renew. Jonathan Sachs actually said last night, and I said last night, we need to renew those face-to-face encounters with people not like us, to realize that we can disagree strongly yet still stay friends. Well, we didn't disagree tonight. We learned tonight, and we learned from each other in the most colorful way. So I know you've already done it, but give another please round of a great applause to Sakita and Nipala for that wonderful presentation. And we hope to see as many as you tomorrow night for our interfaith quiz, which should be a little bit of fun. Anthony, thank you very much indeed for chairing it. David, thank you very much indeed for putting the IT and everything else together. And team, great, well done. Good night, everybody.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Neela.
Good night, everyone. Yeah, thank you very much.
Good night.
Good night. Good night and thank you. It was lovely.
And happy Diwali.
Thank you. Happy Diwali.
Thank you.
Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali.
Al Mubarak.
Thank you.
Al Mubarak.
Al Mubarak,
Yes, thank
Alan.
you.
Thank you, Neela. Thank you, Sachita. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Councillor Anne. Great to do with
Thank
us.
you. That was so lovely.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.